At 19, Alexandr Wang walked away from MIT after 1 year and bet everything on an idea most people didn't understand: that whoever solved AI's data problem first would become indispensable. He was right. By 24, he was the world's youngest self-made billionaire. At 28, his company Scale AI is worth $14.3 billion, powering everything from OpenAI to the U.S. Department of Defense. And he's living exactly how you'd expect. Luxury apartment in San Francisco with a 2,000 square foot rooftop terrace. Hot tub where he closes million-dollar deals overlooking the city skyline. Met Gala invites. A lifestyle most people twice his age couldn't reach. So how did a teenager build a company the Pentagon depends on? And what does a 28-year-old billionaire actually spend his money on? Alexandr Wang didn't grow up in Silicon Valley or inherit family wealth. He was born in 1997 in New Mexico, where both his parents worked as physicists at Los Alamos National Laboratory, the historic facility where the atomic bomb was developed during World War II. Los Alamos isn't a typical place to grow up. It's a community built around scientific research, filled with some of America's brightest minds working on cutting-edge projects. Wang has described it as a very special place where most of his childhood friends had parents who were scientists of some kind. When dinner table conversations regularly involve advanced mathematics, physics breakthroughs, and complex problem solving, it shapes how a kid thinks about the world. While other children were absorbing pop culture and sports statistics, Wang was surrounded by people pushing the boundaries of what's scientifically possible. That environment cultivated an ability to think at levels most people his age couldn't reach. Wang excelled in mathematics and science from a young age, participating in competitions that put him against the best young minds in the country and internationally. He dove into programming early, teaching himself to code and building skills that most college computer science graduates struggle to achieve. By his teenage years, Wang had developed technical abilities that would normally take people well into their 20s to acquire. His academic trajectory led him to MIT, one of the world's most elite technology universities. Getting into MIT is hard enough, but Wang didn't just get in. He arrived with skills and ambitions that already exceeded what the standard curriculum could teach him, which is exactly why he only stayed 1 year. In 2016, at 19 years old, Alexandr Wang made the call that would change everything. He dropped out of MIT after just 1 year to co-found Scale AI with Lucy Guo. This wasn't a desperate move by someone failing out. Wang was excelling at MIT. The problem was that MIT's timeline, 4 years of coursework, then maybe grad school, then entering the workforce, didn't match the opportunity he'd identified. Wang saw something most people were missing. As companies raced to build AI systems, they were hitting a massive bottleneck. Artificial intelligence needs enormous amounts of labeled data to learn from. Someone had to look at millions of images, videos, and data points and label them. This is a car, this is a pedestrian, this is a stop sign. Without that labeled data, AI systems can't train effectively. Every company building AI faced this problem, but most were trying to solve it internally, hiring teams to label data or building their own systems. Wang realized there was a better way. Create a company that does data labeling at massive scale, better and faster than anyone else, and become the provider that every AI company depends on. Data labeling isn't as exciting as building the next social media app or creating consumer products. But Wang understood something vital about technology. Sometimes the most valuable companies aren't the flashy consumer-facing ones. Sometimes it's the infrastructure companies, the ones providing essential services that everyone else needs. He was right. Within a few years, Scale AI was working with Toyota, Airbnb, OpenAI, and eventually the U.S. Department of Defense. When the Pentagon becomes your client, you're no longer just another startup, you're critical national infrastructure. By 2021, Scale AI's valuation hit $7.3 billion. Alexandr Wang was 24 years old and had become the world's youngest self-made billionaire. The company kept growing, In 2024, Scale AI closed another funding round that valued the company at $14.3 billion. Wang's exact ownership stake isn't public, but as a co-founder and CEO, he likely owns a significant percentage. Conservative estimates would put his personal net worth somewhere between $2 to $4 billion, possibly more. For context, at 28 years old, Wang has more wealth than most people could spend across multiple lifetimes. Even at a modest 5% annual return, $2 billion generates $100 million per year in passive income. He could spend $1 million every single week for decades and still have money left over. But unlike some tech billionaires who cash out and retire, Wang is still actively running Scale AI. The company now employs hundreds of people and continues securing major contracts with government agencies and Fortune 500 companies. His youth actually works in his favor. At 28, he has decades ahead to keep building if he wants to. The lifestyle Alexandr Wang lives in San Francisco's South of Market, Soma neighborhood, in a luxury apartment featuring something that's become legendary in San Francisco's tech elite: a 2,000 square foot private rooftop terrace with a hot tub and sweeping views of the San Francisco skyline. 2,000 square feet of private outdoor space in San Francisco is extraordinary. Real estate in Soma is some of the most expensive in the country, and having that much private terrace space is a luxury most wealthy people in the city can't access. The views alone, overlooking the city's skyline, the bay, and the surrounding areas, are worth millions. But what makes Wang's terrace famous isn't just the size or views, it's how he uses it. The hot tub has become a known location for business meetings and networking sessions with other founders, investors, and tech executives. Imagine closing million-dollar deals while soaking in a rooftop hot tub overlooking one of America's most expensive cities. That's the level of casual power Wang operates at. Most people have business meetings in conference rooms or coffee shops. Wang's having them in his private hot tub with San Francisco spread out below. This isn't just about showing off, though that's certainly part of it. With the elites, business happens everywhere. Deals get made at dinner parties, partnerships form during weekend trips to Napa, and crucial conversations happen in informal settings where people let their guard down. Wang's terrace creates that environment. It's strategic networking disguised as casual socializing. The apartment itself reflects his status as one of tech's youngest billionaires. State-of-the-art smart home technology, luxury finishes, and spaces designed for both personal comfort and entertaining high-profile guests. The social circle. Wang's wealth has given him access to social circles most 28-year-olds never reach. He's been invited to the Met Gala, one of fashion's most exclusive events, where tickets cost tens of thousands, and you can't simply buy your way in. You need to be invited. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Wang was roommates with Sam Altman, who now runs OpenAI. Altman is one of the most powerful people in tech, and they were close enough to share living space during lockdown. Wang regularly interacts with influential entrepreneurs, top executives, and thought leaders at exclusive industry events and private gatherings. His social network bridges technology, business, and increasingly, culture and celebrity. These are relationships that provide opportunities for collaboration, investment, and staying at the forefront of emerging trends. His approachable demeanor, despite his wealth, makes him a sought-after presence at elite functions. Unlike some billionaires who become isolated or difficult, Wang has maintained the ability to connect with people across different worlds, from engineers building AI systems to celebrities interested in technology to government officials managing national security. When Mark Zuckerberg wants to discuss AI infrastructure, Wang is someone he meets with. When the Pentagon needs data solutions, Wang's company gets the call. His network is his power, and at 28, he's already built relationships that took most tech leaders decades to develop. The work reality. Now here's what separates Wang from trust fund kids or people who got lucky once. He's still actively running Scale AI despite having enough money to retire forever. His daily routine reflects someone who hasn't let wealth make him complacent. He starts mornings early, dedicating time to strategic planning and reviewing company metrics. Deep work sessions focus on problem solving and long-term vision for scale AI rather than just managing day-to-day operations. Meetings with his leadership team are reportedly concise and purposeful, ensuring efficient decision-making without wasting time on unnecessary discussions. He allocates specific blocks for learning, staying updated on the latest advancements in AI and technology. This work ethic probably comes from his background. Growing up with physicist parents at Los Alamos meant being around people for whom intense intellectual work was just normal life. Competing in international Olympiads as a teenager built habits of discipline and excellence that don't just disappear when you get wealthy. At 28, Wang isn't looking to slow down or retire. He's at the beginning of what could be a multi-decade career at the forefront of technology. The billions he has now might just be the starting point if scale AI continues growing and AI becomes as central to the economy as many predict. The investments. Like other smart billionaires, Wang is diversifying through strategic investments in emerging technologies and startups. He's known for identifying promising ventures in fields like machine learning, robotics, and biotechnology, areas that align with his expertise and vision for where technology is heading. Wang often mentors young entrepreneurs, offering both guidance and capital to help them scale innovative ideas. His investment strategy is driven by understanding market dynamics and spotting opportunities before they become obvious. Having built scale AI from nothing to $14 billion in valuation, he knows what it takes for startups to succeed and can identify founders who have what's necessary. These investments serve multiple purposes. Obviously, they grow his wealth. But they also keep him connected to the broader tech ecosystem, give him early visibility into emerging trends, and position him to benefit from the next generation of breakthrough companies. Some tech billionaires become passive investors who just write checks and hope for returns. Wang stays actively involved, providing strategic advice and opening doors through his network. When you're 28 with both wealth and expertise in the hottest sector in tech, your involvement can be the difference between a startup succeeding or failing. The future, Wang is in a position almost no one his age has ever occupied. At 28, with billions in the bank and a company valued at $14.3 billion, he has options that most people never access at any age. He could keep pushing scale AI toward even higher valuations. The AI industry is exploding, with every major company racing to integrate AI into their operations. Scale AI is perfectly positioned to benefit from that trend as demand for high-quality training data continues growing. He could expand into new ventures, using his wealth and expertise to start additional companies or make larger investments that shape entire industries. With his reputation and resources, he could recruit top talent and tackle problems other entrepreneurs couldn't touch. Or he could decide he's accomplished enough and shift focus toward enjoying his wealth, though nothing about his behavior so far suggests that's likely. Based on his actions, Wang seems driven by building and achieving rather than just accumulating wealth. He dropped out of MIT at 19 to start Scale AI, suggesting he's motivated by impact and innovation, not just money. The fact that he's still actively CEO despite having billions indicates he genuinely enjoys the work. The AI industry is at an inflection point. Companies like OpenAI have shown the world what's possible with advanced AI systems, and every industry is racing to figure out how to leverage this technology. Scale AI is positioned as essential infrastructure for that AI economy, similar to how Amazon Web Services became fundamental to cloud computing. If Wang executes well over the next decade, he could become one of the defining tech leaders of his generation. He already has wealth. Now it's about building legacy and influence that outlasts any individual company or product. At 28, he has 30 or 40 years ahead to keep building if he wants. That's both the opportunity and the challenge. Figuring out what to do when you've already achieved more by 28 than most people accomplish in their entire lifetimes. Alexandr Wang represents something different in the tech billionaire space. He's not the typical garage startup story where founders grind in poverty for years before breaking through. He went from MIT to billionaire in 5 years. He's not hiding his wealth or pretending to live modestly like some tech founders do for PR purposes. He has the luxury apartment with the hot tub terrace, he's attending the Met Gala, he's living the life his billions afford. But he's not flashy about it. He doesn't parade his lifestyle online or chase attention. His wealth shows, but his focus stays on the work. He's still building, still pushing scale AI to grow. The wealth hasn't made him disconnected from the company he created. Wang's story is compelling not just because of the money, though $2 to $4 billion before 30 is remarkable. It's how he identified an opportunity most people missed, had the confidence to drop out of MIT to chase it, executed well enough to build a company the Pentagon depends on, and now lives a life that balances success with purpose. The rooftop hot tub overlooking San Francisco, the Met Gala invites, the quiet presence among tech elites and celebrities, these are visible symbols of wealth that runs deeper. Wang's real luxury is optionality. He can do anything he wants for the rest of his life, and he's young enough to enjoy it. Most people spend their entire lives working toward financial security. Wang reached that point before most people finish college. What he does with the next 40 years will determine whether he's remembered as a smart kid who got rich or as someone who changed the world. For now, he's closing deals in his hot tub, running a company worth $14 billion, and showing that you don't need to brag to live big. So what do you think? Is Alexandr Wang the future face of tech ambition, or just proof that the next generation plays the billionaire game differently?